Hey guys, what's up? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC on Fox, VanZant versus Waterson as it goes down from Sacramento, California this upcoming Saturday. Overall, a really fine looking card. I like a lot of matchups in this, a lot of intriguing matchups, a lot of kind of matchups that make you talk. Your main event, you have Sage versus Mickey Gall, Mike Perry's on the card, Faber's last fight, Paul Craig makes his debut. And it's just some really well-matched fights throughout. Coming off a pretty good weekend for myself. UFC Fight Night 102 was a really good card. I picked a vast majority of winners there. UFC 206, some disappointing picks that I made. But I stand by those picks in the end. Coming off a big week off DraftKings, I did really well on Saturday. Played $50, came away with $650. So that was a big win there. And my bets that I cashed over the two nights, the Friday and the Saturday nights, I was up about 4.5 units, so really good. I'm on a really nice streak of bets at the minute. I'll try and put that the Kappa Take link in the bottom. You can go have a look at Tail My Bets if you like, so because I forgot to do that last week and I apologise. But yeah, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. I want to say hello to the new subscribers. I gained about 28 to 30 new subscribers for the last week's videos there, which is great. For 2017, my goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're at about 616 at the minute, so we've got a bit of work to do. This is where I need your guys' help. But please like, comment, subscribe. Let's talk about fights, because that's what I love to do. And as always, please follow all the good people down below me. I have to battle MMA Kelton, Rockstar Z, James Lynch is one of the hardest working guys in the business. Go check him out with the Parting Shot. His interviews are just some of the best out there. One of the true good guys of the sport out there as well. So he just works his ass off and he deserves a lot of recognition for that. And then there's the various podcasts that I follow as well. And the shout out to UFC Betting Sharks, can't forget those guys. So let's get started in this card. We're starting off in the welterweight division. We have Bojan Velickovic against Sultan Aliev here. Sultan Aliev was a guy I really forgot about. I haven't seen him in nearly 2 years, but the last time we did see him, he got sparked out by Kenny Robertson, and Kenny Robertson doesn't really knock people out. So, yeah, coming in here, I think the way I'm looking at it is Bojan, he's coming off a loss as well. He lost to Michael Graves, I think, at UFC 201, and Graves is a tough grappler, a really good, I think a really good fighter. If he can get his personal problems sorted out, he'll be a good guy in that welterweight division. But the way I kind of see this fight kind of going down, I think that Bojan's size, I think they're a similar height, but Bojan's kind of mass will look to really put Aliev against the cage. And Aliev is a really decent grappler, in all honesty. He's fairly good, but I think that Bojan will be the slightly stronger guy. I think he hits a little bit harder, but it is a close matchup. But I do like Bojan. I feel more confident picking Bojan. I think the grappling will kind of sort itself out a little bit, but if it gets down there, I think Bojan can really smother him a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what Aliev is like off his back. I don't think he'd be overly great. I think on top, from what we've seen, he's fairly decent down there. But I can see this going a little bit back and forth. I can see it being close. I can see Aliev actually winning a round as well. So looking at it, I'm going to go Bojan Velickovic, but I do see this being very close. But my pick will be Bojan via decision. Flyweight division, Hector Sandoval faces off against Fredy Serrano. A little bit surprised that Fredy Serrano's actually the underdog for this one. I was just checking the odds there. I got my phone beside me, and Fredy Serrano's a plus 125 underdog, and that surprised me a little bit because I thought it might be close. Can I pick him? I didn't think Sandoval in his second fight after losing his first fight in the UFC would actually be the favourite. I think he's plus 120, minus 120, sorry. But yeah, it's just a weird. That betting line's kind of threw me off a little bit because I'm actually pretty sold that Fredy Serrano's going to win this fight. I think his grappling. We'll start with Hector Sandoval. Sandoval made his UFC debut, come in short notice. He was replacing Demetrius Johnson, who was supposed to face Wilson Hayes, and Demetrius fell out, and then I think it was shot. In fact, I think he replaced Sean Santana, who was supposed to face Wilson Hayes. Come in here on short notice, and he got submitted in about a minute and a half, facing off against Wilson Hayes, who's a really top-notch grappler. But he came out swinging some heavy leather, and he connected in a couple of those shots on Wilson Hayes, and Hayes didn't like it, took him down. Sandoval managed to get back to his feet, but once the second takedown, a very well-timed takedown, went down there, and he kind of moved to an advantageous position, he was in the kind of the Dragon's Den then, and he was really in trouble, and he got submitted in the minute and a half there. I do think this fight could be close, because Fredy Serrano, they fought in the same card at UFC 201, and he was throwing some stupid cartwheel kicks and like rolling thunder kicks, and if this guy sticks to his bread and butter, which is his grappling, the guy's a really good grappler. He lost to Ryan Benoit in that fight, but in that one I thought that he could have won that fight. I really do. I think his grappling on the feet, he was alright. He was getting pinged a little bit by Ryan Benoit, who really can be quite accurate, and he showed against Bryan Morono he can deliver some big strikes as well. But Fredy Serrano, his grappling is the way he's going to win this fight. Now, I am worried about his gas tank, because I think Sandoval can go really hard for 15 minutes, and I expect him to do so. But I think that Serrano has that grappling background where he can really use it here, and I think once he gets Sandoval down, he's going to keep him there, because he is a high-level grappler and his wrestling is really good. I'm going to go Fredy Serrano. I can see him winning the first 2 rounds and maybe losing round number 3, but I am kind of sold on Fredy Serrano for this pick, but I wouldn't rule out Hector Sandoval, so I'm going to pick Fredy Serrano via 29-28 decision. And the headline fight on the UFC Fight Pass portion here, Eddie Wineland faces off against Takeya Mizugaki. Is Eddie Wineland back? That's what I hope, because I think Eddie Wineland is a really top fighter in that bantamweight division if he is back and he has his head sorted on. He's coming off a really fine finish of Frankie Saenz. Now, Saenz, nothing special, but he's a very tough guy, and Eddie Wineland managed to stop him last time out. Nice to see Eddie Wineland getting a fight, like 2 fights in 6 months, which is fairly decent. He had a little bit of a layoff after those losses to Barao, and I can't remember who his other one was against. But yeah, a really fine technical boxer. He's got some really nice, powerful hands, and looks to really keep it on there. But he's kind of well adversed everywhere as well too. So if he wanted to go to the ground, he's more than inept to really keeping it there. But I think this is just going to be a technical striking match. I think if Wineland was to mix up a little bit, he could get Mizugaki down. Whether he keeps him there is another thing. Mizugaki, we all know what he's about. He's just about really good technical, fundamental boxing. Doesn't really go to the ground overly too much, and just the way that's how I see this fight going. I shouldn't really be talking about the ground game. The only way I see this is if Eddie pursues that and wants to take it to the ground. I think that Takeya will like to keep it on the feet, but Takeya, is his chin maybe going a little bit? I mean, he's been cracked a few times, albeit by big hitters as well. Cody Garbrandt got him out there. Dominic Cruz is not known to be a heavy hitter, got him out there. He lost to Aljamain Sterling as well via submission. I think this is going to be on the feet. I think Takeya will have his moments in this fight, but I think that Wineland's going to hit with the bigger, powerful shots. Use leg kicks. If he can use leg kicks on Mizugaki there and open him up a little bit, he might drop the hands and he could catch him with a big shot. But my pick's going to be Eddie Wineland. I'm going to go for another decision here. But he has the power to put him away. In fact, you know what, I think Eddie Wineland's back. I'm going to make a play in this. I'm going to go a TKO victory, early round number 3 for Eddie Wineland here. Moving on to prelims, we have Leslie Smith facing the debuting Irene Aldana. I was really excited when I heard this matchup got put together, for the simple reason Leslie Smith always brings it, but I'm a fan of Irene Aldana. I think she's a really good addition to the bantamweight division, a really tough fighter coming out of Mexico. If you've been watching Invicta for the past few years like I have, you've seen her coming through along with Alexa Grasso, who are just 2 really good talents. I think Alexa is definitely the fighter further up the totem pole, but Irene Aldana is a really tough fight. I mean, I've only seen I was lucky enough to get to see one of her fights in Vegas when I was over for International Fight Week last year, but she was facing Tonya Evinger, who is really like a veteran of the sport, and she has really good grappling. And I think in the 5 round, I think Aldana fades as the fight kind of goes towards the end, and that's where you can get her a little bit. Larissa Pacheco did that in her first loss of her career way back, but her striking is very good. She has power, she's very accurate, nice leg kicks. If you push her against the cage, she throws elbows. And Leslie Smith, she'll want to take this to the ground. So this is going to be a back and forth fight. But I just see Irene Aldana being the quicker fighter. I think she's got the better hands. I think she definitely hits harder. And she's definitely the more accurate fighter, and she's going to land more. I can see Leslie Smith getting dropped in this one. I think if she was to mix up to the body and go up high, she could really put a beating on Leslie Smith here. I'm going to go... I don't really pick too many finishes in the women's divisions because they usually go to decision. Probably 80% of the time usually. But I like Aldana. I know that Leslie Smith comes and she's always there, but I think Aldana's going to pepper her with shots and really hurt her. So I'm going to go a second round TKO victory for Irene Aldana. It's a little bit of a kind of Hail Mary play, I think, but I'm going to go with that one. Josh Emmett against Scott Holtzman. I like Josh Emmett in this fight. No disrespect to Scott Holtzman, but his 2 wins in the UFC are against Anthony Cristodolo and Cody Pfister, and they're 2 of the lower guys that have been in the UFC the last few years. Still got to win those fights, but the one time he faced anybody with any kind of decent skill set, Drew Dober, he lost that fight, who could kind of stuff the takedowns and kind of keep going for 3 5-minute rounds, very, very strong, and he lost that one there. Josh Emmett came in very short notice, flew all the way across into Europe, went to Holland and beat John Tuck. And I like John Tuck in that fight. I thought he was going to... John Tuck's such a weird fighter to pick. I realise now that you really can't pick that guy anymore. So Josh Emmett, he showed some nice counters, hurt his hand, and I think it was early 3rd round he hurt his finger and really busted it up really badly. But he was the quicker, cleaner striker. Really nice leg kicks, really nice counter striking, and it really put it on John Tuck and won that fight. And I knew of this guy before coming into the UFC. I say I'm a big fan of Team Alpha Male, so there is a lot of guys coming through there, and it was nice to see Josh Emmett get his opportunity and come out with a win here. I just like him in this one. I think he's the tougher fighter. I think he's the tougher fighter who actually I think he wants it more. Being in Sacramento, I think he's just going to be buzzed for this one. And do I see a finish? Possibly. I possibly see a finish for this one. Looking at DraftKings teams, there is potential finishes throughout the card, so you've just got to pick the right ones. I'm going to go Josh Emmett via decision, because Scott Holtzman is very, very tough, but my pick will be Josh Emmett via decision. Moving up to the welterweight division, we have James Moontasri against Alex Morono. I was wondering where Alex Morono went, because he fought in the first card of the year against Kyle Noak on the Condit Lawler card, and got a very impressive victory over Kyle Noak, and really, I think he was a plus 240 dog in that one as well. I remember, because I was thinking of betting him, but I was just put off by the experience that Noak has, and knowing what we know now, Kyle Noak was already in his way out of his career and close to retiring. So Morono cashed that dog play there. Really tough fighter, sticks in the pockets, throws some heavy leather, some fairly decent leg kicks as well, and was just better everywhere the fight went. Lost the first round but came through to win rounds 2 and 3. James Moontasri, he's a fighter that I actually really like watching, but I don't know where his ceiling is. I don't think 170. I know he can't make 155 anymore, but what is his ceiling at the 170 pound division? I just don't know. His 2 wins, going about Scott Holtzman. Cody Pfister and Anton Zafir. They're probably even. Anton Zafir should never have been in the UFC. He stopped that with a spinning back kick there, and then he faced Alex Oliveira. Survived the 3 rounds against the big guy there, and Oliveira, who is just a kind of a big mass guy, and he's really tough. He's just tall, rangy. Tough fighter. I see this being a little bit back and forward on the feet, and on the feet, James Moontasri is he's a good technical striker, and he's got that Taekwondo background, and I think he's a fourth dan black belt in Taekwondo there. So this is a close fight, a very well matched fight, but I think Morono's the tougher fighter. I really do. I think if he mixed it up a little bit, he could definitely win rounds with that grappling. I'm going to pick Alex Morono. I'm going to go decision. I can see that being a little bit back and forward, but I'm going to go for Morono. I'm quite confident in that pick. Welterweight division, staying in there, we have Bryan Bam Bam Barberena against Colby Chaos Covington. Bryan Barberena, what can you say about this guy? Toughness personified. Real tough fighter to face, and again, in these kind of spots where he's classed as the big underdog, this guy cashes, and he has done twice in a row. He did it against Sage Northcutt. He went down to Brazil and did it against Vale Alves. That's kind of the main thing you can say for Barberena. He's tough, he throws leather, he's in your face, but I do think he is susceptible against a high grappler. And I think that Colby Covington, I think the single leg, I think he's going to put Barberena against the cage, have his back against the cage, and that single leg is there I think that single leg is going to be there all day long, I really do. But he has to use his strikes to get him there, because Barberena is not just going to like back up against the fence, because he's a come forward fighter. So Colby has to use that striking. I mean, he's faced Max Griffin, who I think is a good fighter, Jonathan Mooney, who's coming off a UFC win, so all right fighters, but I think his ceiling is definitely higher in this division. Has to get this fight there. He doesn't want to engage on the feet with Bryan Barberena, and he cannot give away, he cannot be in kind of bad positions against Barberena, because he will make you pay for it, and he has done in the past. But he's going to be there all 3 rounds. He's going to bring that pace. Covington just has to really time his shots well, fight smart, try and put it against the cage, but work really efficiently there, use his strikes efficiently. I think once this fight goes to the ground, he wins rounds down there. So Colby Covington, via decision for me there. Featherweight division, Cole Miller against Mizuto Hirota. I'm a little bit back and forth on this one, I must admit. If you haven't seen an interview with Cole Miller, I think it was on Bloody Elbow, or it could have been Sherdog. No, it wouldn't be Sherdog, it was Bloody Elbow. And he's obviously had a couple of fights cancelled, and he's obviously been spending money on these camps, travelling out to Florida, American Top Team, and obviously is a little bit pissed that that card in Manila got taken off, and then he's taken another couple of months to find a fight for this guy. So and he says he'd rather be doing something else than fighting, and as soon as I heard that, it really piqued my interest in this fight, for the simple fact that Hirota is the dog in this one, and he is tough. Hirota is a tough, the Japanese fighters are all tough from that side of the world. We've seen with Doho Choi, they're tough fighters coming from over there in Asia. So Cole Miller, when you look at this here, it's like, is his head in it? Because when you fight, if this whole thing didn't go off with him saying this in an interview, you look at the two guys, and Cole Miller definitely has all the advantages in this fight, for the simple reason that longer fight, I think he's got like a 9-inch reach advantage, like a 5-6 inch height advantage. He's got definitely the superior grappling, jiu-jitsu, striking. It'll be a little bit back and forward, but he is the better fighter. Is his gas tank there? Because Hirota will be there all 3 rounds. Coming off that loss to Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres back at, I think it was 199. He needs this win here. He needs it for the money, I think, and other things as well, which is quite bad to say in the sport. But if you're looking at it without this interview, I'm picking Cole Miller. If not, it's his head in it. It's a hard pick. I'm going to pick Cole Miller based on his skill set, not on that interview that I saw, because that's only one instance that I've seen it. So I'm going to pick Cole Miller. I think he could catch Hirota in a choke. I'm going to go submission round. Actually, I might go earlier. I'm going to go round number 1 there. So Cole Miller via sub round number 1. And the fight up I'm actually looking kind of most on this card, Luis Henrique de Silva against Scotland's own, from my country here, Paul Craig. And if you've been following me on Twitter for the last day or so, I've been watching these fights, and I'm really, I've made my decision now, but I've been back and forth in this fight, and I possibly might bet the person I'm going to be picking this one. We'll start with Luis Henrique de Silva. 2 wins in the UFC, both guys undefeated here. De Silva against Jonathan Wilson and Joachim Christensen is his 2 wins in the UFC. And what does he bring to his fights? A really good pace, looks to put you against the cage. That's something that he very much looks to do, and throw some hairy leather. Like in the clinch, he's very dangerous as well. But he can be caught. I was really surprised that Christensen caught him with. They went in the clinch, engaged a little bit, and Christensen lifted a knee and caught him square in the chin. That actually led to him being submitted in the end when De Silva reversed position and got the submission there. So, but that first round, it was all Frankenstein. He hurt Christensen really bad. If he gets that top position, he's really tough to get off. Jonathan Wilson, he was just beaten up there. I don't think his gas tank's very good. Thing is with Paul Craig, I'm hoping his gas tank's good, but it's kind of an unknown because he hasn't been past like the first minute of the second round. So we'll go into Paul Craig here, a fighter out of the Scottish Hit Squad, the former BAMMA light heavyweight champion. His last couple of fights have been phenomenal. Beat Carl Moore in Ireland. I think he lost that round, no doubt about it, but he did show a lot of really good striking with his kicks. Some body kicks I thought were really good. The one thing that does worry me is he leaves his head and his chin in the air, and again, some of the guys in the UFC, they're going to take that chin clean off, so that's something. I think it's been getting better. His striking's been getting better, his movement, but in positions where you think he's going to be against it, he reverses it, like he did in the Marcin Lazar's fight. He went for a takedown, looked to get taken down, and then they were rolling, and he was adjusting all the time, making adjustments on the ground, and caught Marcin Lazar's with a beautiful triangle choke, and like that thing was on like so quick. He adjusted his legs so quick down in there, and Lazar's tapped out. In that fight with Carl Moore, was put against the cage. Moore tried to take him down, and he reversed it, and then in the second round, he definitely lost that. I'll say he definitely lost that round. Came out in the second round, a little bit back and forth, initiated a takedown. Carl Moore tried to initiate a takedown, and in the scramble, caught a choke, and I'm not kidding, this choke was on, and he lifted him so quick that Carl Moore, there was no danger, and Carl Moore will be in the UFC. I think he will be in the UFC next year, definitely, and he tapped him out there. Beautiful submission. The way I see this fight going is I can see De Silva coming out really quick, looking to put Craig against the fence, and that's something that Craig can't do. He needs to keep this in the centre of the octagon and try and pick his strikes well, without leaving that chin or anything in there. I think this definitely goes into the second round. I think from there, I'm hoping Paul Craig's gas tank is going to be better than De Silva's, because De Silva blows hard in that one. If Paul Craig fights smart and they get into the scrambles, maybe in the clinch where they try and initiate a takedown, I think he's going to catch Henrique De Silva in this one. So, not confident in my pick at all. I'm going to pick Paul Craig. I'm going to pick him via submission. I think if it was to go into third round, he would catch a submission in that one as well. But I'm going to go a second round submission. I'm going to go like I think a guillotine choke or a rear naked choke for Paul Craig there. Not confident in the pick, but I'm looking at ways of winning the fight. I think that Paul Craig has more of a chance to win the fight with his grappling there. So Paul Craig, second round submission, and he is the underdog. Like I was saying before, if I am going to pick Paul Craig, I'll probably make a bet on him, because his line is good. It's like plus 160, plus 170 I saw here, so I'll probably be making a play on that very, very soon. Moving on to the main card, Alan Jouban against Mike Perry. Really interesting fight. Mike Perry, what can I say? I mean, I picked against this guy a couple of times. He's come out against Hyung-Gu Lim, heavy hitter, and he put him down like 3 times. So this shows you this guy has power, and not a guy you can really underestimate. In Manchester against Danny Roberts, very close fight, but he was putting the heat on Danny Roberts and really lighting him up, and he got that finish in the third round. Just when Danny was kind of looking to take over, I think Danny won second round maybe. I can't really remember too much. I remember watching the fight yesterday, but he came through and won the fight, and he's booked again really quickly here against Alan Jouban, and I think he can beat Alan Jouban. I think that Jouban can't go hard for 3 rounds. I do think he's a little bit chinny, as is Mike Perry, because if you watch the videos before he went to the UFC, we haven't seen it so far yet, that he can be caught. But I just think that Perry's power hitting is so hard. He's going to find a shot that's going to put Alan Jouban down. Jouban's coming off those wins over Brandon O'Reilly. Not decent opposition. Bilal Muhammad is, and he beat him back in July. But that was a back and forth fight where it was a lot closer than the scorecard suggested. It lost to Albert Tumanov, so he has been knocked out. That was a beautiful head kick knockout by Tumanov. Matt Dwyer and wins over Matt Dwyer and Richard Walsh there. But I'm going to pick Mike Perry in this one, and I said probably in my last video for 204 that I'll probably fade Mike Perry in a lot of fights because I think he is chinny. But I think in this matchup he has the better gas tank. Striking, I think it's going to be quite close. I just think he's the power hitter and he's going to find that chin at some point. So I'm going to go. Once Jouban starts to fade, I'm going to go a late second round knockout for Mike Platinum Perry. Urijah Faber against Brad Pickett. Actually really sad to be seeing Urijah Faber going, but it is the right time because the game is passing him by. Showed that last time out against Jimmy Rivera. The new breed are coming forward and just he's making the right decision by walking away now, and he's got himself a pretty favourable matchup here against Brad Pickett, who I also think is on his way out, and within 6 months I don't think we'll see him in the sport either, but could be wrong there. I am going to go with Urijah Faber here. I think that in Sacramento, I know all the pressure's kind of on him for this one. He's going to look to want to put on a performance here. He's got a really good opponent to do so. Brad Pickett definitely hits harder, and if he was to catch that bum chin of Urijah Faber, he could definitely put him down. But I think the fight's going to go on later. I think it's going to be could get a little bit sloppy, and maybe somebody's going to initiate a takedown or a clinch, and Faber's going to grab something. Brad Pickett lost that fight to Alcantara, and that was a beautiful submission. That's one of the best submissions of this year as well. But I just think that Faber's going to find a way to finish this fight. I really do, and go out on a high. If not, I see him winning the decision. Not going to spend an awful lot of time on this. I just think that Faber, I don't think he's declined enough. Brad Pickett's a good type of fighter for him to fight, pretty much. I think that on the ground he's got a definitive advantage down there. I think he's going to want to try and put it there, and I think he could get a submission victory. If not, I can see him getting a very decisive decision victory. So, and all the best to Urijah Faber on his brilliant career, and hopefully not just this new breed through your Paige VanZant, your Cody Garbrandt, and we see them become champions in the future. Pick's going to be Urijah Faber. I'm going to go via decision though. Co-main event now. This has been one that people have been talking about back and forward, and myself have been going back and forward on. But I've come to a concrete pick here, and why I'm going to pick this guy. Sage Northcutt v Mickey Gall. Two really young fighters in the sport. Sage Northcutt 8-1 record, Mickey Gall 3-0 record, and both. I can't believe people are going to like Mickey Gall. I've seen people say Mickey Gall's the next big thing. I've seen saying Paige Northcutt's already done. The guy's only 20 years old. Don't know why you can come up with that. The guy's got so much learning and progressing to do in the sport with the skill set that he already has. This guy's going to be around for a long time if he chooses to do so. Mickey Gall. Right, I'm going to come out here. My pick's going to be Sage Northcutt. Originally I went with Sage Northcutt. Watched some fights of Mickey Gall, the 3 fights that we can find over the weekend, and I just find it hard to justify myself picking Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall beat that guy 0. All the guys he's faced have been, I think, 0-0 fighters. So it's really hard to pick a guy. At least Northcutt has the experience of going out there and fighting guys. Mickey Gall beat that guy to get into the UFC, beat Mike Jackson, did hit him with a really nice shot in the feet. Once it goes to the ground, he is very, very good down there as well. And CM Punk, I'm not even going to get into that. He wins that fight every day of the week, and especially when you get CM Punk rushing at you, takedown, you're going to get him down there, and you submitted him. At least for Sage Northcutt, he's been in some tough positions. Barberena beat him. Whether he was ill or not, he got beaten that one there. Was in some really tough position against Henrique at UFC 200, and managed to pull through when his arm nearly popped out his shoulder. That was a little bit of a controversial decision. I had it just for Northcutt, but I could see why people didn't give him that fight. I think on the feet, Sage Northcutt is definitely the better fighter, the better striker, the more accurate, the more speedier striker. On the ground, though, I think Mickey Gall can definitely hold his own, and we've seen in the road to the octagon that Northcutt is trying to get those skills up to par on the ground, because that's something that's obviously lacking I think he has submissions down there, he has some decent wrestling, but that definitely goes on Mickey Gall's side. But on the feet, I think that he can hit Mickey Gall, and Mickey's going to be looking to shoot and put him against the fence and take him down. I want to bet this fight for Sage Northcutt because he is the underdog and I think he should be the favourite. I'm going to pick Sage Northcutt for the simple fact that he's faced better opposition. I think Frank Trevino, the guy he made his UFC debut against, would beat all the guys that Mickey Gall's fought, and could possibly give Mickey Gall a fight as well. Probably beat him as well. I'm going to go Sage Northcutt. I'm going to go decision. I think it's going to be. I think he can make this pretty convincing. I'm going to go 30-27 for Sage Northcutt here. And the main event of the night, we have Paige VanZant against Michelle Waterson. A really good fight. A fight I'm looking forward to, and I have been looking forward to for the past kind of few weeks on the lead up to this event. We'll start with Paige VanZant. I mean, a 5th or 6th fight in the UFC, her only loss to Rose Namajunas, where Rose really just dominated her for the whole fight and got the finish late in round number 5. A tenacity is one of our, and a never give up attitude is one of our great attributes as Paige VanZant, and she never gives up. She comes forward and just looks to bring the fight to you. But last time out against Beth Rollins, she was losing that fight. If she did not, she pulled out the Hail Mary head kick knockout. She lost that first round. I wouldn't see the fight going any different. Maybe I could see Beck winning round 2 with Paige maybe winning round 3. I think she was losing that fight if she didn't pull that off. Throwing a lot of kind of unorthodox kicks here in that fight, and I don't think she's going to be able to pull that off against Michelle Waterson, because Waterson has that traditional karate background. It's definitely the best striker in this one by a long way. I think she might just be. I think there might be similar sizes here. The experience is obviously in Michelle Waterson's side here, but saying that, every fight that Paige VanZant's in, the person's always more experienced because she's so young in the game. Michelle Waterson made a UFC debut last year at the Tough Finale, and she beat down Angela Magana, which is always fun because Angela Magana is just an a-hole pretty much, just a clot really. I've got no time for Angela Magana, and she beat her down in every facet of that fight. On the feet, some beautiful hip throws. On the ground, although Michelle was open to some submissions down there and she got out really nicely, she found a submission in round number 3 once she initiated that takedown. But beautiful teeps and beautiful front kicks, a really nice kind of low kick to side kick to the body that Michelle Waterson throws, and she's got a really nice lead left hand as well. So I think Michelle Waterson's just the better overall fighter here. If she can keep this off the mat, where she's not being laid on top of by Paige VanZant, I think she wins this fight. I'm a big fan of both girls here. I will be after this fight. Paige VanZant is like the sweetest girl you could ever meet. Met her this year when I was in Vegas. Michelle Waterson, I mean, an hour after she won that fight with Magana, she was walking with her kid through the MGM, which was just a nice sight to see, and she's just a really nice woman. But I think the better fighter here is Michelle Waterson. I was talking to Justin Buchholz, the lead trainer of Team Alpha Male in Belfast, and saying that Paige is like really dialed in on this one. So it is a close fight. My preference is just to go with Michelle Waterson in this one. I think she's better on the feet. She can stop some takedowns. If she gets put in the ground, I think she can get back to her feet, but she has to be careful not leaving anything out there, because Paige will grab it and find a submission or find a stoppage somewhere. I'm going to go Michelle Waterson via a decision in this one here. So that's my picks for UFC on Fox. Paige VanZant versus Michelle Waterson. I'll be back for UFC 207 to finish off the year. Ronda Rousey is back, and my boy Cody No Love Garbrandt is going for that strap. So keep your eye out for that one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Help the guys below. Come follow me on Twitter at WillMartin7MMA. Or Will Martin MMA, sorry. If you want to play me in DraftKings, it's Bilber85. I've got plenty of cash to play with, so come and try and take that off me. I'll see you all very, very soon. Enjoy these fights when they come around, folks.